All right, today we're going to unpack two really simple words that hold an absolutely profound meaning for the relationship between Christ and the church: head and body. Now, they might seem straightforward, but you're about to see how the Bible uses them to paint this incredible picture of leadership, unity, and where we all fit into the big picture.
So let's just start with a quick question for you. When you hear that phrase, head of the church, what's the first image that pops into your mind? Is it a CEO, a general, maybe a king on a throne? Whatever it is, just kind of hold that image in your mind because we're about to see how the original biblical texts give us a different and I think a much more powerful picture.
Okay, so let's dive into part one. What does the Bible really mean by head? The first thing to get is that when the biblical authors used the word head, they weren't just inventing a new metaphor out of nowhere. The idea of a head, meaning a leader or a source, well, that was already a super common concept, and we see it woven all the way through the Old and New Testaments.
And check this out. Here's a perfect example. Way back in Exodus chapter 18, when Moses needed to get the people organized, the text says he chose men and made them heads over the community. See, it's a very practical, straightforward way of saying they were in positions of leadership and authority.
And believe me, this was not a one-off. As you can see here, this idea is incredibly consistent. We see it in Exodus for rulers, in Numbers for the heads of families, and later in Isaiah, where a whole city is called the head of a nation. The pattern here is crystal clear. Head consistently means the leader, the ruler, the source of authority.
So now, let's jump forward to the New Testament. When the Apostle Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 11 that the head of every man is Christ, he is not just pulling this idea out of thin air. He is plugging directly into that long-established understanding of what a head is, and he's applying it to the ultimate authority, to Christ himself.
But this is where the definition gets even deeper. See, the biblical idea of a head isn't just about being the boss. As Paul points out in Colossians 2:19, the head is also the source of nourishment. It's the very thing that holds the body together and actually helps it grow. So it's an active, life-giving, sustaining kind of leadership.
And this, right here, brings us to the other essential half of this whole metaphor. Because just think about it for a second. A head, no matter how brilliant its thoughts are, is completely helpless without a body to actually do anything.
Which brings us right to part two, the church as the body. Because just as Christ is called the head, the community of believers, the church, is consistently called his body. And the Apostle Paul gives us an absolute masterclass on this idea in 1 Corinthians chapter 12. And to really make us feel this, Paul asks what is honestly a pretty tough question. So let me ask you, if you absolutely had to choose, would you rather give up a limb or an eye? I mean, it's a horrible choice, isn't it? That's because you instinctively know that every single part of you is just vital. And that feeling? That's exactly what Paul is getting at.
And that's his whole point. So often, we just go through life taking all our different parts for granted, not really appreciating them until one gets injured or, God forbid, we lose it. That gut feeling of loss, that sudden recognition of just how valuable that part was, that is the key to understanding the church as the body of Christ.
I mean, Paul's argument here in 1 Corinthians 12 is it's profound. He says, look, the body is one single thing, but it's made up of all these different parts. And every single one, no matter how small it seems, is absolutely necessary. The eye can't just look at the hand and say, I don't need you. No way. They're completely interdependent. And then get this. If one part suffers, the entire body suffers. And if one part is honored, the entire body celebrates.
Okay, so we've looked at the head and we've looked at the body. Now, for this final section, let's bring them together and see the complete, absolutely stunning picture that they create when they're one.
So here's how it all connects. On one side, you have the head, who is Christ, providing the leadership, the guidance, the life-giving nourishment. And on the other side, you have the body, which is the church, unified in its purpose but made up of all these diverse, independent members. You see? One literally cannot function without the other.
Together, they aren't two separate things trying to work together. No, they form one, a single, living, unified organism that's meant to work in perfect harmony. So, if you only take one thing away from all this, let it be this. The metaphor of the head and the body isn't just about some top-down hierarchy. It's about a living, breathing relationship where the guidance from the head empowers every single, unique member of the body to play a role that is absolutely vital to the health of the whole thing.
And so that leaves us with a final question for you to think about.
If you are part of that body, and if what Paul says is true, that every single part is essential, how does that change the way you see your own role, your own importance within that community?